everybody, I'm Jeff Bower.
And I'm Joey Marino. Welcome to Actor Chats.
This week we have the third and final part of our interview with Nate Corddry.
You probably know Nate from his role on Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, Harry's Law, and most recently the Chuck Lorre sitcom Mom.
In this segment, Nate talks about a long Steadicam shot on Studio 60, playing in close-ups, and working on a multicam.
Actor Chats with Nate Corddry.
What role of yours was like your all-time favorite role, do you feel like?
I don't know. I mean, I have like favorite jobs just because the work environment was really fun, and I felt like I could be myself, and I felt like I made friends, and it was a environment that I felt empowered in, and I have those. But I have a very small part in that movie, The Heat, the Melissa McCarthy, Sandra Bullock movie. It's a very small part, but you know, I have two scenes. But the work itself and the director Paul Feig was just so kind and smart and generous and funny and warm, and the set environment was great, and I knew some of the other people in the scenes, and it was just a joy. The whole experience was a blast. But as far as the part, like, you know, I only worked 5 or 6 days on that movie, so I don't know. I try not to dwell on past roles. I guess I try to think about the next one. Forward. Yeah, and try to get the next one, as opposed to looking back and going, oh, wasn't that an amazing time? I'm nostalgic in other parts of my life, certainly, but not so much in my, like, in the career-wise. I'm nostalgic of like where I grew up in my hometown and that sort of environment, but I don't look back too much, I guess.
So then, I guess, if you don't have necessarily a favorite role, like what do you think was your? You talked about Studio 60 and the learning experience of that. Was that the role you think you learned the most on?
Yeah, that was like the biggest job I've had, I think, in my career. It was a big job, and I sort of came out of nowhere when I got that job, and I was hired in New York, and I moved from New York to LA to do that job, and I was a huge West Wing sort of obsessive fan, and so I was really into Aaron Sorkin, and it was a dream. It was a total dream.
How was it working Steadicam shots? Did you guys do?
Oh, it was the best. It was so much fun. I love Steadicam stuff because it's like a play, because it's like athletic.
And they call them oneers very often, because they're done in one shot with maybe some coverage of the shot at the end. Mm-hmm. What was it like doing those?
It was scary the first couple times because you can't mess up a single syllable, or you have to start over. And I remember during the pilot, they had a long Steadicam shot to open the show that went for like 90 seconds, and the operator was on a weighted crane, and it started at the top of a spiral staircase, and my character's walking down the spiral staircase, and as I walked down, the camera, the weight balance of the camera the weights went up, and the guy with the camera operator went down, and as I stepped off this spiral staircase, the crane landed to the ground, he stepped off and followed me through this enormous long hallway. Thankfully there was no dialogue, but we did that 17, 18 times, and I mean, it's such a challenge because so many people have to be on the game at once. Like, all the sound guys have to be, you know, make sure that they're getting everything.
They're running down the hall with the pole.
Yeah, all that stuff has to be covered. The camera operator has to be effortless. The acting work, not only do you have to get every single word and syllable, all the emotions have to be there. And you have to watch the speed of how fast you're walking and taking a turn, and, you know, making sure you take that turn a little bit wider so the camera operator can move to the left.
They call it a banana.
Yeah, exactly.
A banana is
exactly.
One operator that we both know says a banana.
Right.
He's British.
Yes, he is.
Terrence Nightingale.
Yes, Terry. So those were, I love Steadicams that are the best.
Was it kind of good that you didn't have dialogues? Was that your first walk and talk?
Yeah, it was my first walk and talk. Yeah.
Do you find that once you would get things in the film or television under your belt, that it made it easier? Like, you got the first walk and talk out of the way, and then you do your first driving scene, or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's all kind of checking off.
Do you feel like all the setups you've done in Harry's Law and stuff, like, does your confidence come from, I've pretty much done a lot of different versions of the overs and the tight and...
Right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. I mean, the more experience you get, the more that you're on set, the more that you understand the language of vocabulary being on a set, which you don't learn in acting school. You only learn that once you show up. and you start hearing these words and these phrases that you never heard before. Like, what the fuck does 10-1 mean? Like, what does a cowboy mean? Like, what is a martini?
10-1 means go to the
10
restroom.
ones, but a number 1, which is pee-pee,
10-1,
as opposed to 10-2.
10-2 is... See, these
may
are
take
good.
a little bit longer.
These are good that you would never know. It is true.
Yeah.
You got to pick that up because you're going... Because I think when we're new, we kind of tend to think 10-1, is that because of I just did something goofy or my performance? You know the lingo,
right?
And kind of how to navigate the set because of it and frame your day.
Yeah, you don't know until you get there and you start listening and learning what it all means, and becoming good friends with the first AD is something that's really fucking important. And you wouldn't know that until you have some experience, and because they're the one they're leading the day. They're in charge, really.
Hopefully they're good and they inform everybody.
Yeah,
because
you know
that's
what's
what the
going
first
on.
AD really informs you.
Yeah.
Like, wow, we both work with a guy, Fernando.
Well, he's the best.
Pasterman. He's just one of the best. He would inform everybody. If you're starting a scene, he would often say, we're going from the tippiest of tops.
Right,
So you
right.
know you were going from
Right,
the top
right.
instead of, are we doing this middle part? Or
Yeah.
are we doing that? And it's very helpful
Takes
if
a
you
very-
have an AD.
It takes a very specific personality too to be a first AD, because you have so much weight is on your shoulders that
Yes.
the day is made, that you get the work done, that everyone is happy, that everything is done, that everything is checked off the list, and can't panic. You are the one
Right.
that everyone is looking to. Every department is looking to you for help, and if you have even just a twinge of panic, everyone picks up on that, and the day
Yes.
is shot. So. Yeah, Fernando was the best at that, of maintaining an even keel, light, fun attitude.
I remember on Harry's Law, they were gunning 3 cameras at one time because of the lighting setups and things like that. How did you adjust to 3 cameras going at one time? Because I guess one might have been closer on your face and then one might have been distant. So how did you modulate your performance if it's multi-camera?
I never really changed it if there was 1 camera or 3. It was always the same. I wouldn't adjust my performance whether it was a wide shot or
okay.
super tight. I tried to do it all the same. So when the camera came in and when it was
because it is
wide,
going to come in later for more specific stuff for
Yeah.
you. So your psychology was you didn't have to worry so much.
yeah, I should do the full performance now. So when they come in, I'll have practiced it. I'll have done it.
So
I've done
that's
it.
what you said with Kathy, figuring out how to modulate your day. Was that part of it?
Yeah, well, just like a lot of people feel like they need to, like, between takes, to like run around and talk to everyone and be active, and like she would just sit in her chair.
I know.
She wouldn't get up. She wouldn't go back to her trailer. She would just sit in her chair and sit quietly and look at her sides, and that was enough. You don't have to fucking
And she
run around.
seemed to just be able to have a really good concentration where she didn't get split off too much too, which is amazing.
Yeah, years of experience on
Yeah.
on how to do that. So yeah, that confidence of. I always try to be everyone's friend on set, and that's a problem. I shouldn't do that because it distracts me from what I need to do. But I feel that need sometimes, and watching her, it was like, if it's okay if I just go and sit in a chair by myself for 45 minutes.
Well, it's like
It's
I
okay.
finished working with Robin Williams on The Crazy Ones,
Mm.
and people tell me that back in the day, Robin was always on.
Yeah.
Being funny, and it exhausted him. And now he seems to be mostly he's sweet as the day is long, but he tends to be in that softer mode, like, oh, how's it going there, boss? Hey.
Yeah.
But he's not extending himself. Sometimes he will in terms of doing
Sure.
that, but I think he's conserving his energy now,
Yeah.
and he kind of gets that you can't be
Yeah, you have to.
everybody's friend or.
Doesn't matter what happens between the takes. All that matters is what happens when the camera's on. That's all that the audience doesn't see when the camera's off. So it's okay to, manage your energy.
Playing a close-up, a lot of people find that tough. I remember a story about James Earl Jones. Late in his career, I guess a director noticed, are you uncomfortable in this? And James Earl Jones had admitted, I am. He goes, well, let's work on it. How do you find a close-up different from MasterChef?
I try to treat it all the same.
Okay.
But I enjoy close-ups because it's you have to be more specific. You can't. You have to be like a fucking ninja. You have to be a surgeon. You have to be very, very precise, and really be specific about any choice that you make because it's all so enormous when it's on camera. So you have to be you have to paint with a very, very fine brush. And for me, that's really fun. That's a challenge. That's for me seeing how much I can get away with without doing anything.
Oh.
Like how can I get away with doing nothing and still convey that I'm frustrated that my boss wants me to work late. Say that's the scene. And he has to say that to you, and it cuts back to me going, and saying, all right, not a problem. But instead of saying, that's the line, but underneath it is, this is a huge fucking problem because my fiance is expecting me to meet her parents tonight. So when the camera is very close, it's really fun to play that and do nothing and just really have the confidence that you don't have to show them anything. Like really just show them just a 2% that you're upset. Just one little drop from an eyedropper. And that's all. And I like that. I really like keeping it in. Don't show anything. Like have the audience wonder a little bit, have them try to read behind your eyes. What does he think? What's going on there? As opposed to putting it out there and laying it out. Just hide it.
Do you feel like we've come across that a lot? Like, do you feel like that's the most common direction you hear too? Is do less or throw it away?
Yeah,
sure.
That's what I was wondering.
It seems to be a running thing, and most of the time with most of the actors we chat.
Yeah,
with.
what is the most common direction you've ever that you've gotten on a set, or you hear other people get?
Some directors are really great about you take their direction, you do it as you think it's supposed to be done, and then they say, oh, just do one more for you. And that's really fun because you're able to sort of not have these rules that are sort of like the directors said, you have to do this and do this and do this. I just do one, and that's usually the take that usually end up being on the show because you're free to trust yourself and not have to follow someone else's rules. But yeah, I think this less is more. Throw it away, that stuff is fun. It's really fun because again,
to throw it away,
no, because it goes back to self-confidence and you having confidence in yourself that you're enough to tell this story. You don't have to push. The audience is smart. If the writing is good, the audience understands. The audience has watched a television show before or has seen a movie before. And there are certain rules in television and film, like how to tell stories. And the audiences understand. And really, really good movies are very subtle in tapping the audience on the shoulder and say, it's time to feel this now, or this. And other ones aren't so subtle, and they have a big swelling music and a big panoramic shot. And I'm supposed to be moved now. It's a lot more fun it's a lot more fun for the audience to let them discover it themselves, as opposed to fucking shove it down their throat that I'm upset because my girlfriend left me. No, just trust that the audience understands what's going on and let them do the math and let them put it together. And that's really freeing as an actor because you feel like you don't have to, because I hate pushing and selling. Don't sell. It's just, whenever I see that on stage or up on screen, it's just distracting to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What about multicam? Do you feel that you stick to your guns that way? Because a lot of multicams, it's
you
big
recently
and over
worked
the top.
on a multi-camera, and we chatted about that and wondering the difference there because there was going to be a little change in.
Yeah, it's more like a play because there's
Right.
a live audience, and it's also it's a comedy, and every line is a joke, just about, or a setup to a joke. So it's unrealistic in that way, and you just have to succumb to that. It's a bit heightened. It's like doing a play. It's a little more theatrical. The performance is bigger. You have to reach out a little bit more and telegraph it a little bit more. But that's also great
But that
fun.
doesn't mean pushing. You know what I mean?
People push, even in doing this show that I'm on now, Mom, which is a half-hour sitcom, Chuck Lorre is the producer, will say, just throw it away. He'll say that.
So even that, the direction even
which
seeps
is
into
him
that work.
which is him saying the words are enough. You don't have to say, but I love her. If you just say, but I love her, that's going to get just as big of a laugh because it's the words that are doing the joke, not your performance.
And Allison Janney, she's got to be one of your favorites, huh? Because
Yeah,
she was on The West Wing. Your favorite.
A winner of 4 drama Emmys and nominated for a comedy Emmy this year for Mom, and I think she's going to win. I hope she wins because she deserves it because she's so great on the show. Yeah, she's unbelievable. She can do anything.
They talk about listening. I mean, I think she said something about that once, and how much does that play a role, and how do you cultivate that? And how much of a role is listening?
Yeah. I mean, it's everything. It's maybe the hardest thing to do, I think, in acting is truly listen to
Why is it so hard, I wonder?
Well, because you have your own shit. You have your own stuff that you're doing, and you're caught up in taking care of number one and making sure that your performance is okay and that you're making the right decisions and you're anticipating, because you know the lines.
Yes.
You know what the next, you know how the story ends. So it's hard to, because you know what they're going to say.
Yes.
And it's hard to not jump and to just relax and truly listen as if it's the first time you're hearing this. And you'd think it'd be easy, but it is incredibly hard. But there is it's a confidence issue for me. Is that you've done your work, you've done your homework, you're prepared. Don't spin into your brain about what you're going to do. Just relax, listen to what the other person is saying, and then respond to them honestly.
If you do spin into your brain, which I do on occasion, in life as well, how do you bring yourself back?
Just, like a slap on the wrist, really. I mean, knock it off. This is getting you nowhere. This is wasted time. This is wasted energy.
I notice, in film, I notice maybe different than stage, people do spend a lot of time in each other's eyes, almost more than you would in real life. And I think maybe that's the difference, because in real life, you look at somebody that long, something's up, somebody's either punch you or you're going to kiss the girl.
Right.
But
right.
But how was that difficult for you at first, like keeping an eye line?
No, that's great fun. I mean, it adds to the sort of intensity of the scene, because it's a little bit unnatural, like you said.
Yes.
To stare into someone's eyes for that long and to maintain that connection, but it adds to the energy of the scene. For me, I could, because it's.
So you see it as an intimacy thing, like where you ride it.
Yeah, there's some electricity. Yeah, to that scene.
Interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe that's how actors can kind of just say, okay, this is not. Get over that discomfort, because I had a heck of a time just doing that even in real life. I know some people actually in real life, they look at you along. I remember when, and you're going, ooh, that was kind of unnerving.
Yeah.
And, but that's something that you have to practice, I guess.
Yeah, and everyone has to do it. Everyone who works on a movie set, who has to look into someone else's eyes and emote something. Like we're all struggling to do it. We're all fighting the same fight. We're all on the same level, same page. So it's a shared experience. Cut yourself a break. Not easy to do, believe me.
Not easy to do.
Good advice to take.
We usually wrap up by just asking, for the listeners, if there's any advice you give them if they want to pursue this as a career. What you would say to them, or what you'd reach out and tell them right now.
I guess is that like the cream rises to the top. If you have the talent. If you're talented, it'll work out. But some people don't have the talent, and they may get by because of their looks or who they know, or they may not get a break. If you have talent and you're able to express yourself in an honest way, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of the right person seeing you, which may take years or may take one day. Who knows? But if you have the talent, it will work out. It has to. It's just a matter of time. So I think... be confident that you have the talent, and don't question yourself. Be confident. Go into that room and take what's yours if you're auditioning for something.
That was great.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks
Thank
so
you,
much.
Nate.
Cool. Thank you.
So that was our third and final part with Nate Corddry.
So talent makes it less of a lottery.
That's right. You keep plugging away.
You get more tickets.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you've purchased more $1 million raffle tickets. Be sure to tune in next time to Actor Chats when we talk with Tim Phillips.
This has been Actor Chats with Nate Corddry.